color of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and on Street Talk, what we do, we talk about things that's happening here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. We deal with political, social, and economics. Now, joining me tonight, a young man who grew up here in Lansing, Mr. Brian Jackson. Hey.
Glad to be here.
Before we get on into this, give us some of your background.
No problem. Thank you. You mentioned I'm from Lansing, and I take a lot of pride in that because to be able to come back and work in the community I'm from. But I went to Sexton High School. I played a lot of sports there. And then I went to Western Michigan. I played football and track, and I earned my bachelor's degree in political science. And then I went to Indiana State and did my master's degree in criminology. That's a study of crime and causes, effects, and how it happened, and the reasons for it. And then I went on to Howard University School of Law, where I earned my law degree, and now I'm an attorney in Lansing.
You was running for, what was you running for, what?
Last year, I ran for Ingham County prosecutor.
Okay. Now, who's gonna win that?
A lady named Carol Simon, and she's a nice lady, and she's doing a good job, and she would have been the one that I would want to see win if it wasn't myself.
Oh, okay. How is, I was reading the paper the other day, and that was 5 murders already here in Lansing, and we just in the second month. What do you think? Because last year we had how many last year?
Lansing usually averages just over 10 or so.
Okay.
So we're already almost half of that in 2 months.
Okay.
So it is definitely a spike from last year. And like you said, it's 2 months.
I noticed that when I look at the Capitol, read and check it out and all that, we can't get any. Well, we're not getting any Democrats or independents, and then we steady got Republicans. What's happening in Michigan and in Lansing?
Well, if we're talking about Lansing, I don't know about all the House races and everything, but I know in the United States, with the president being a Republican conservative, and the House of Representatives being Republican, and the Senate, they essentially can pass any type of conservative legislation through. And I know as a progressive, it's pretty alarming, some of the things they're doing, especially with their appointees and the implications that has for people of color and poor people.
I don't know exactly how many seats all this. Did we have did we have an election for some of those seats last year? Did we have?
In the race I was in, I'm trying to remember what all was on the. I believe there was, and the people that were already. I mean, the incumbents won basically.
Oh, okay.
But it's an alternating schedule, so there will be next year elections that have to do with the Michigan
Okay.
House of Representatives, and there will be our local district will be up. So there's definitely some, and that's where Andy Shore is now.
Okay.
And from my understanding, he's running for mayor of Lansing.
Right. Okay.
So there's going to be an open seat.
Okay. Now, Andy Shore, he's right now. What's he right now?
He's a Democrat, and he has progressive ideas for the most part.
Okay.
So, Democrat.
Okay. Do you plan to again seek one of these seats? Are you plan to?
I don't have any plans to, and again, it's just kind of how things present itself. I know, from my understanding, what I'm learning, a lot of the, career politicians, they can plan ahead and know which one by what year, but I'm not at that stage, and I don't have any plans.
So, as of now, you private. I mean, you work in your private business.
Yes, I for the last year and some months, I'm a private attorney. So people hire me for different things, mostly criminal defense. If their loved one or themselves get in trouble, accused of a crime, I'm the attorney for them.
Okay.
But if there's also people in family law or something trying to get child support changed or custody of their child, that's also a divorce, unfortunately. So it's just different things.
One of the things is that Obama was trying to get. He was trying to get the thing where more people would be out of jail on certain things than what we had, 5 or 6 years ago. What was that?
Sure. Well, one thing President Obama did, he, what's the word? Exonerated people.
Okay.
Basically, he took some of the people that were locked away in the 90s, 80s for drug offenses, nonviolent offenses, where the drug laws at that time, the war on drugs, was so harsh on people that you could really have your first offense of maybe dealing crack cocaine, and then go to jail for almost your life. So he took a lot of those people and basically exonerated them, or pardoned them. That's the word. It's a presidential pardon. And I think it was just he was also the first president ever to visit a federal prison.
Well, so now do you think that will go on now? What do you think about it?
Well, if you mean the new administration, Donald Trump's administration, I don't want to speculate, but just from his appointments and the way that he's enforcing the laws, supposedly, I would doubt that he would pardon a lot of people or try to change some of the disparities in the system or the problems in the system, because he would probably not want to be viewed as weak on crime or anything like that, because he promised a certain base of people certain results, and that's kind of what he's trying to do right now.
In those, so we see that Obama has gotten a lot of people. I don't want to say got them off or anything like that, but he's made the playing field level. How many people right now do we have in you know, in the prison and everything? You got a guess or anything like that? Estimate?
There's a number out there. I mean, hundreds of thousands. But as far as the average black male will go to 1 out of every 5 will be in prison or go to prison at some point. When it's for Caucasian males, it's 1 out of 17.
And we only make up 12 to 15% of the population.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of different factors for some of these disparities, but it goes all the way down to the basic level of discretion. It's an officer having the choice whether to stop somebody or not, or arrest somebody or not. It's the prosecutor having the option whether or not they want to charge somebody or with what, and the judge to how much they want to sentence somebody to. It's different. I mean, it's a disparity all the way across the board.
And it look as though we're at the bottom of it.
I would not want to exclude our brown-skinned brother, Latino brothers, because they are in the same boat as us as far as, but I think we are slightly worse off, if you will.
Now, I was reading, this was about maybe 2.5 years ago, where we had, where 52% of the people in prison was black. 52% of them was black, and we had 1 million and something people in prison. That was about 2 years ago, and they were saying 52% of them was black. Is there any change in that now?
I can't give you the exact numbers, but the only change would probably account for more Hispanic, Latino people in prison, which would take our overall high number just a little bit more down. But as far as the rates, I don't think much has changed.
And also a few years ago, there were more of us in jail than college. What is it like now?
Again, I can't tell you the numbers, but that's been a terrible comparison for many years, and I hope it's changed as far as a black man's more likely to be in prison than be able to go to college. I hope it's changed, but I doubt it.
You know, I see a lot of young men just walking the streets, and you know, it's a thing that we can talk about of you know, for the next 6 months, next few years. But what do you think? And maybe you got some idea or something. How can we get some of them off the streets?
That's a good question, and I think it's a collaborative effort, but it's really opportunity. And if a young man feels that, you know, he has no legitimate means to gain respect and to become something, it's just hard. So whether it's one-on-one or investing in the community itself, because it's not so much just somebody walking the street. There's also poverty a lot of times involved, and people come from impoverished neighborhoods. So if we can lift those neighborhoods up by investing, you know, putting a grocery store there so people can eat better, any little thing, community policing, put a bank in there because all the banks left, everything left, just give people a chance. And I mean, that might be one thing.
You mentioned, you know, in our neighborhoods, I've been from New York to San Francisco and all in between, Seattle, Denver, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, and it's the same thing. It's just the same thing. There's got to be something else that we can do, or something we can hit on to get some of these these people out and get them educated? What do you think?
I think that if we had a good answer to that, I would expect some of our brightest people to have applied it already. So the problem is it's going to cost money, and the people who have the money might be less willing to invest in people without money. And especially as long as we have a conservative government, whether it's the state level or the national level, you're not going to see some of those social activities and those programs that might at least give us a boost.
What do you you said that you wasn't going to seek anything right now. You're going to look around and see. But what are one of the things that of all these things that you would like to do in Lansing?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to do and I just did was to open up a chess club at Shabazz. Just because I wanted to give our young men just something that's like not a sport necessarily, something that's a hobby. But really just trying to work directly with the young people and try to empower them the best as possible. Instead of trying to change everybody else around them, that's the way I want to at least work, is just to give our young people a boost.
We got about 7 to 8 minutes. We see now what the situation is, the political situation. What do you think? And it's hard to really predict anything now. But in the next year, what would you like to see right here in Lansing? And we can go from Lansing on, but right here in Lansing, what would you like to see? Just some of the things that you would like to see change here in Lansing.
Well, that's a very loaded question, and today is, as of the recording, what's today? Monday, the
27th.
So there's already been an announcement where from my understanding, the mayor is not running for re-election.
He's not.
That's new today, and so that's already one change. And then, there's people. So I don't. There's a lot of good people out there, and I guess basically I would want to see some fresh faces in there, people that have some new ideas, and hasn't, have an interest in like a group that one way or the other. I also would like to see investment in our neighborhoods where our people live, because we need to ultimately retain people to live in the city to keep our tax base up and not have abandoned houses like other cities. So we have to try to improve our neighborhoods also.
Now, I was reading this, and I read it every year. Read it again last year, at the end of last year. But it's sad, but I seen the black dollar in the Asian neighborhood, flux around for almost 30 days. In the Hispanic neighborhood, almost 26 days. In the white neighborhood, 17 days. In the black neighborhood, 6 hours. What do you think? What do you think the reason for that?
I missed that beginning part of that.
Talking about the black dollar, goes around in the Hispanic in the Asian neighborhood for just about 30 days.
I'm sorry, I'm a little ignorant on the topic of the black dollar. What are we?
Well, what I was asking is why the black dollar gets out of our neighborhood so quick. Why do you think it leave our neighborhood so quick? I mean, we get paid and next thing we out someplace else spending that money?
Well, one reason is that there's not, in our neighborhoods, we have to leave to go get food.
Okay.
So we already have to leave to get the essential, necessary things for life. And then as far as people starting businesses, whether it's black businesses or otherwise, it's hard to choose a location where there's not other things around, like a grocery store or other things of need, banks. So it's just already just disinvestment in the neighborhood itself, and then it just goes from there.
So you were saying, and I guess, and a lot of us thinking that maybe if we could get something in our neighborhood, maybe a grocery store in our neighborhood that's run by blacks. Because when I come to Lansing almost 50 years ago, there were black businesses in Lansing. There was probably 5, 6 or 7 bars. There was 2 or 3 grocery stores, and there was one big grocery store on MLK, up at MLK in Ottawa, somewhere up in there. Big grocery store was run by blacks, owned by blacks. And there was another one just crossed MLK and Malcolm X down in there. But all of them gone now. What do you think has happened?
That is a little before my time, even though I'm a lifelong Lansing resident, born in 1984. But I don't recall those. And that's a good question, because those would put grocery stores in our neighborhoods. But the city and in industry in general, the automobile industry, it's been a decline. Lansing's been hit during the recession also, as many as there's been, and that may just have some effect. I can't really speak to where they went or what happened, but I know it's tough for businesses everywhere. And if we don't have the structures and support behind a business, those are probably the first to go.
We got about 5 minutes. Tell us out here, people out here watching, just some of the things that you would think would make Lansing, I don't want to say better place to live, because it's a nice place if you don't want to really do something. But I'm saying for you, you're a young man and everything, and so for you and other young people, there has to be a reason for you to stay here. Educated and all that. Because I was talking this morning to a couple of guys, and one guy had two sons, and he said, time they got out of college, said, I'm gone.
Absolutely.
So what keeps you around, and what do you think that keeps maybe others around Lansing?
That's a great question, and I think it's different for many people. For me, I came, and I went to school for 10 years in other places, but came back just because I wanted to serve the community, or at least be a part of the community. But we have a lot of great things going on. All of our neighborhoods are unique, and we have our blue-collar people are all hardworking, so we kind of have the same values there. But as far as change, I mean, I have a family that I love. I live close to my parents. My wife, my daughter, and traffic's not that bad comparing to all these other cities. So. It's not that bad, and I can't speak. I wish I just had some good answers, like we can do this, but I'm not sure.
Oh, we got 3 minutes.
How about we invest in our neighborhoods and our communities that need it the most? Let's build up our lower
Mm-hmm.
our lower portion of people,
Mm-hmm.
so that we're all more equal.
That would be great. But the thing was, you were saying that Lansing lost a lot of jobs, and I don't know how many has been lost, but I know to see the automobile, go down, and Obama, he was able to
Bail them out.
and all of that, but it's just it's a place, like you were saying, where people can I know for me, old guy like me, and a lot of us old people, we can pretty well walk around and not have to worry about somebody jumping, all this
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff, and that's a lot of different different places you can't do that.
Absolutely.
But in the next minute, tell us what you would like to see, what you want to do, and all that. In the next minute.
Thanks, Ahmad. Well, let me use my time. I would like to see. What would I like to see? I would like to see all the people that live in the city and the region around Lansing to realize that they are where they are because
Okay.
of a strong nucleus in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I would like us all to have empathy with one another
Mm-hmm.
and to accept everybody for their differences. I would like the people with money to understand that someone without money might think about life differently,
Mm-hmm.
and at least try to connect with a person on that type of level,
Mm-hmm.
and just to do what they can to try to just lift us all.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see our leaders take a very progressive approach towards government and try to move us along,
Mm-hmm.
and not slow us down, no matter what the federal government and the conservative platform does. And I would just also like to see people with our minorities, whether it's racial, gender,
Mm-hmm.
sexuality, to be treated with respect.
That's great. My time is about up now, but for the last 28 minutes, we've been speaking to Mr. Brian Jackson. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we catch you right down the street for more Street Talk. Peace. Thanks, man.
No problem.
The texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.